So now that we have looked at the Perseus tools for landscape creation, let us now look at the tools for creating things that aren't landscapes. And the idea is that as you build a Perseus map here, so there's your map, you will build the landscape first, then you will decorate the landscape by adding bricks and brushes to it, and the engine will automatically infer height information based on that. So let's look at the brushes here. In Inspector, a brush is any piece of in-editor editable level geometry. And I better make sure I actually have a decent texture selected because these take textures from the textures window here. So here's some stone thing. And to start with, I can create a box, and I just click and drag to create the box, and then I click and drag here to set its height. And then if I have objects mode selected, I can click the box to select it. T translates. It should be on a hotkey, but you can rotate the box as well. And most importantly, by hitting D, you can get rid of it. Now, again, if you're building levels, you probably want to have toggle snap to grid enabled, because what toggle snap to grid does is it makes sure that there's no like minute cracks forming between pieces of solid level geometry. So here you can see it's snapping to the grid that I've established. And one of my to-dos is that the elevate square tool will also snap to grid. So I can do this, and you can see my map now has a wall on it. And there are other things I can build here. So I can build, say, cylinders, and I can have a cylinder piece, and maybe maybe I want to go back there and I want to make that nicely rounded. So I'm just going to make all those tiles that are hiding back there invisible, so that the edge of my map looks like there's just that cylinder there. And you can see it's not fooling anybody from that height. But now, here's another thing you can do when you're working on Perseus tiles. Something that people want, apparently, I don't know why, is to have a feathered edge. So you don't just have this sort of flat area here. So the way you can fake this right now is you take your faces, you select faces on, say, the edge of the map. I'm not going to do the whole map here because whatever. I've already started doing things here. I'm going to do some of the map. So, oh yes. Which button is it? The Alt. Toggle snap to grid right now sort of monkeys with Perseus a bit. It doesn't like it. So if you have trouble, disable toggle snap to grid. And these things will eventually be sorted out. So select your faces, elevate the square, and just drag down here. Okay, you can see that creates an artificially beveled edge of the sort you want. Now, go with your Make Invisible tool and just run it along this edge and make all these brushes that it's looping down to invisible. And as you can see, it gives you that nice solid edge there.